Hey, what's up, guys? This is James. I'm here with Ryan Hall, who's been one of my clients this year, and we wanted to talk to you a little bit about our work together. So, I guess to start out with, Ryan, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself and your career in poker?
Yeah, so I've been playing poker professionally for 12 years. Went to college for a year, dropped out. I've been playing poker since, and it's going pretty well. And my average stakes currently is 510 up to 100, 200. I've mainly specialized in no limit hold'em heads up over the last couple of years, um, and yeah, it's going really well.
Okay. And what was the main reason that you wanted to work with a mindset coach?
So the main reason I wanted to work with a mindset coach was I wanted to improve my perceived quality of life outside of poker. Um,
When you say perceived quality of life, you mean like the way that you perceived your quality of life?
yeah, exactly. So, things were going pretty well, but I didn't feel truly content with my life outside of poker. I didn't feel happy with the way that I would handle the swings of poker. Sometimes I would self-medicate with, Adderall or marijuana, and I wanted to, yeah, improve on those types of things.
Okay. So when you say it was going well, which part of your career did you feel was going well?
The poker itself,
Okay.
my results had always been good, but yeah, just outside of it, sometimes I wasn't the same.
Okay. And was there anything that you were skeptical of, like that could have held you back from working with a mindset coach?
Yeah, I had a lot of resistance with working with the coach for a while. Just someone who's sort of is analytical and skeptical. There's a lot of crap out there.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, I had to think about, do I really want to go this route? I've worked with other mental coaches before. I've worked with Jared Tenler before, and Jared was great. And I've read his books, and I really enjoyed it. But there was something different about working with you that I really liked, and I think for me too, just playing higher stakes, I really enjoyed working with someone that understood the swings, and that was like, part of what I was struggling with, like, losing a lot of money in a day and going and watching Netflix for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I wanted someone who understood what it was like to lose a lot of money in a day and the emotional toll that it can take.
Then they picked the right coach.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So what was the biggest thing that you found came into your life as a result of you and I working together?
Contentment, man. You know, I take a bike ride now, and I look around and I look at the trees and I look at the signs, and um, I find a lot more joy in my everyday life. Um, and yeah, it's you know before I started working with you, I had briefly started the path of meditation,
Hmm.
and that was one of the big things that we've been working on and that I really wanted to get through. When I started with the meditation, it was tough for me because I felt like I wasn't doing it right. I would sit down and I couldn't sit still, and it was like, oh man, I'm not doing it. And then I felt like at a certain point I felt transactional from it, and I was like, oh, I'm meditating because I want to play better poker, but it wasn't like I wasn't meditating just for me.
Hmm.
And so now like so many of the things that I do outside of my life are just for me.
Nice. So before, when you would sit down, you're sitting down like, I want to meditate, I want to play better poker. And then if you don't feel like you're doing it right, you're like, oh, I'm getting it, like I'm not getting a good ROI. Am I sitting
Yeah.
down for 10 minutes?
My God, like this meditation thing, it doesn't even work. It could be anything. I could run a few binds below EV for a day and I'm like, oh, it's not working.
Yeah, I understand.
Like
And now when you like see the trees and you're riding your bike and you're like appreciating life, that's when you feel like it's working.
it's the biggest thing that I've taken from working with you. Yeah, I find so much more joy in the little things. Having a nice cup of coffee.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
And how about your opinion of yourself? Like, did you feel that your relationship with yourself changed since we began our work together?
it has. Yeah.
I mean, you were already doing quite well. You had a lot to be proud of. You were battling it out with, Daniel Negreanu at the highest stakes. What is it that changed in your relationship with yourself from our work?
appreciation.
Hmm.
I was doing those things, and I had some success, but I didn't actually acknowledge it or appreciate it. And now, just being kinder to myself, and um, it's changed a lot about how I view myself.
Hmm.
Self-esteem, the relationship with myself.
Okay. And how important is what you just told me, not only for you, but you have a fiance, you very close to your brother. Like, how do you feel being having more self-esteem and more appreciation for your accomplishments has changed the way you interact in the world?
Yeah, it's I wanted to be a good partner, and I think back on times that I might have lost a lot of money in a day, and I would explain to my fiance, oh, if I seem a little off today, I'm sorry, I'm down a lot,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to have that affect me like that. I wanted her to not know whether I was up or down a lot of money in a day. So it's I think that it's been big, in my relationships as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember we talked about that, like if you were gonna have a son with your wife to be, like do you want to be dad had a bad day at the office, like he's in his room with the door shut for 24 hours, or do you want to be you know, he can't tell either, it's like
Yeah,
no big deal.
I didn't want to pass that down to my kids either. It's just thinking about, in the future, and I didn't want them to see me stressed out all the time.
Right,
You
yeah.
know.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you've been able to bring that into your life. Let me ask you, who would you recommend like mindset coaching, and specifically, I mean, working with me? Who do you think that's a good fit for?
I would recommend it to certainly any poker player, to any entrepreneur, anyone who's really into growth mindset and is into improving their not just their life, but the way they see their life. Um, Anyone who's looking to build and keep getting better. I mean, we can always keep getting better and improving the quality.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you. I really appreciate the kind words. There is one other topic I want to talk about while I have you here. So Ryan and I worked together, and we were, doing phone calls, right, and doing voice messages. And I'm his personal coach, and I'm like, Ryan, I've got this program, I've got this video program. You're gonna love it. It's gonna help you so much. And Ryan got the program. He was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. But he didn't start doing the program right away. It took him a while to really get started and start watching the videos, doing the meditations, going through using the tools in the program, the scheduling tool, like doing some of the worksheets. And I was just wondering, like, could you talk to the people a little bit about, like, tell me why did you wait, to get started with this program, the Poker Mindset Mastery program?
Man, I had so much resistance at the beginning, and I heard before that like the biggest breakthroughs come right before you have the most resistance.
Hmm.
And I actually remember texting you this like right before I had like my breakthrough, and I was like, I just can't get started. Like we had talked about doing the course, and you're like, oh yeah, knock, like one module out every 2 weeks, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm not really doing it. But it was crazy, man. It's like I don't know, all that resistance. Once I acknowledged the resistance that I don't want to do this, and once I actually got started and like would do 5 minutes a day, like just like that, like I knocked it out in like 2 weeks every single module.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, for me, I had to acknowledge the resistance. I had to say like, okay, I don't want to change.
Hmm.
I don't want to lose my ego. You know, and once I was like conscious of that, I was ready to change.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, part of you obviously wanted to change, right? I mean, we started working together,
Did.
like you come to me like, yeah, these are the things I want to change, but then it's like, okay, so here, do this, and you're like, no. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I want to
Like,
change.
oh, I actually have to no, I don't want to do it. I just want it to be
I
done.
just want to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when you got started with the course eventually, and then you started going through the program, was there a moment where you were like, it dawned on you, like you realized, yes, this is like Like, did it accelerate from a certain point? Like, you're like, yes, this is exactly what I need. And like, it was easy.
I think module two for me
Hmm.
was like the big part.
Was there anything that stuck out in your mind, like anything from the course?
Yeah, so the way like I conceptualize, I need to understand things first,
Hmm.
and like I need to like get a visual. And talking about neuroplasticity
Hmm.
for me was the big one. And I was like, just the idea that I could create new neurons in my mind, and I like um, by like self-medicating or something, like I was actually hurting my brain, and then I just kind of became obsessed with creating like this,
GTO brain.
yeah, like a GTO brain. So
Yeah.
medication, not medication, God, no, meditation
Mhm.
like became more fulfilling and easier, and it resonated with me more, and I wasn't, yeah, like as uncomfortable doing it. Like I knew what I was doing,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like I knew I had purpose.
Okay.
Yeah,
So once you did the part on neuroplasticity and you understood how the habits you would do in your daily life are, building your brain either in the direction toward you want to go or more in the direction that you don't want to go. Now all the activities, the meditation, the journaling prompts, like all these kind of things, it's like I get how this is helping me. I can visualize my brain and see, we're unplugging this over here and we're replugging over here, and I
yeah,
can feel the difference in the way I experience life. You start to notice the sunshine a little bit more. You
yeah.
start to notice the smell of the air when you open a door, and you're like, oh, I'm coming back to myself, like this kind of thing.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So I guess, I mean, maybe that answers it. But I was gonna ask you what surprised you about the program, if anything.
Man, it surprised me. Um, once I once I was willing to really commit, how fast it changed.
Wow.
And I think you remember that. Like I was 10 days in. It's like 10 days in off Adderall, and I was like, this is incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. So the change that I saw once I actually detached from my ego, um, it was fast.
So when you got started with the program, you were expecting to have to really work at things for a long time before you saw any benefit, and you
Yeah,
did. Okay.
yeah, I was. I thought, and I think that's part of why like there was so much resistance too. I was like, oh man, like this is gonna be such a process, and like it's gonna be hard to like even know if it's working,
Hmm.
And then it was it didn't take so long, and I saw the results really fast. I saw and I felt the results too.
Nice. How do you feel that the Poker Mindset Mastery was different than other mindset coaching programs that are out there? Are there video series you've watched in personal development and mindset?
Oh, that's a good question. Man, I haven't done too many other like mindset mastery courses.
Mhm.
I have worked with mindset coaches. Um, hmm. What I really liked about the course was that we talk a lot more about inner work than I think I was used to. And I'm trying to think of the name of the slide that it was like talking about like the dark side,
Oh, the shadow.
the shadow.
Yeah, the shadow
Yeah.
self.
And this isn't talked about a lot.
Hmm.
People don't want to,
The degen side.
the degen side,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think once you kind of bring it to light, and it's like it doesn't appeal to me now.
Right, yeah. You got to clear out the shame and all that stuff around it and just be able to look at the worst of yourself and like kind of make peace with it, and then it can get better.
Yeah,
But when you're still like not even admitting to yourself, let alone your coaches or your friends, like what's going on. I mean, how are you gonna, you don't have a foundation to grow from. So.
yeah, man, and again, that's one of the biggest things I've enjoyed about working with you is, I know that you know about some of that stuff, and
Yeah.
we all hit like lower states and not our best self, and for me like it's so important to know that that's okay, and then you know you just start getting a little bit of momentum in the other way, and that's all it takes sometimes.
Nice.
Right.
So in terms of the Poker Mindset Mastery, the video program and everything that goes with it, who do you think that program is a perfect fit for?
Everyone.
Everyone.
I would like tell my fiance to watch this, but I don't think it has to be just poker players. I think it's great for players, but
Mhm.
I think anyone could take a lot from this program.
Yeah,
You
I'm gonna have to do another version,
know?
but
I know. I'll have to
yeah.
tell Kalita.
But for poker players, if you're a poker player and you have the option to do Poker Mindset Mastery, what do you think? No brainer or like,
It's a no-brainer.
okay.
Yeah. This is to me, this is more important course than like a really good poker course that doesn't deal with mindset, like
Like a technical
like
skill.
a technical course. I've taken some really good ones of those too. Um, I think this is more important.
Why?
Everyone's so damn good now.
Right.
Everyone's good. I think that's what's going to separate the best players. It's going to be the mindset.
Right. So if there's a guy who's, done the work in PIO as you have, or like, taken the master class on tournaments or cash games or whatever it is, and he hasn't done the mindset work, and there's another guy who's, done similar work, but he's done the mindset work, you think that's gonna have a big edge there.
I do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. And I guess finally, last question, if you had to put a value amount, like a dollar amount on what you feel like you took out of this program, like what would that number be?
Priceless. It's I would pay a lot of money. I would pay over $10,000.
Yeah.
It's
And why? Because I mean, it's like it's hard to imagine that, for people out there who are watching, like that you would say I would have paid $10,000 for this if I knew the difference it would make in my life. So like, put that into words for them.
I've created so much intention in my life.
Hmm.
Every day I wake up, I meditate, I fill out my questions, and I feel like I have more purpose, and I know what I'm doing and why I'm gonna do it, and then like it sort of frees up mental energy for me now to like attack the things that I know I want to do. How do I put a price tag on that?
Right.
You know,
So you're able to be, more clear in your life. There's less of this, should I do this, should I do that? It's just like it's simple.
that's exactly right. Yeah, there's not mental chatter like, oh, do I do this first? Do I do that first? Or that? It's like, all right, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I know how I'm doing it. I know why I'm doing it.
And with that kind of clarity, I mean, not only do you just enjoy life more because you're not always at war with yourself, but I mean, it's easier to improve in poker, it's easier to study, and it's easier to play.
Yeah, and it's without even having to do any other um, work. It's like that sort of mental freedom has made me more present in my everyday life. More present with my fiance, more present with my friends,
Mhm.
more present with myself.
Yeah. When something makes life just better, like the experience of life feels better,
Yeah.
it is hard to like put that in dollars. But I appreciate you taking the time out to, help me explain to the people why Poker Mindset Mastery is a program that's gonna really help them in their life.
You gotta check out this program.
Well, thank you very much, man, for coming here, coming to Mexico to visit me. We're
Thanks for
going to
having
a
me.
meditation retreat
Yes.
next week. Actually, well, yeah, over the next week. We leave today. So, yeah, I appreciate taking the time out and yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks, man.
No problem.